This is good for all of us. This is good for Sweden. Sweden will become a full member of the alliance.
A look into how the deal was brokered in about 15 minutes. 72 with sunshine out there this morning, sunny and 89. A dry day ahead, a dry one tomorrow. Going to be sunny and slightly warmer or hotter as you like it. 92 tomorrow. And then on Thursday, here come morning and afternoon shower chances again, and in the afternoon as well. Thunderstorms on Thursday afternoon. Partly sunny and 90 then. Once again right now, 72 with sunshine in the city. It's 6:51.
Support for WNYC comes from Lincoln Center, presenting Summer for the City with events available to all, featuring concerts, silent discos, and family events at Lincoln Center, now through August 12th. Info at summerforthecity.org.
If you want a real getaway but are reeling from the planning challenge, we've got you. On the next All of It, how to navigate airline fees and seating assignments, as well as travel hacks to make the journey easier. The editor-in-chief of Travel and Leisure, Jackie Gifford, joins us to discuss and take your calls.
When you're on a holiday.
I'm Allison Stewart. Join me for All of It, weekdays at noon on WNYC.
You go to live theater much over this last year?
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Indeed, a hiring solution that helps businesses attract, interview, and hire candidates in one place. More at Indeed.com/hire.
I'm David Brancaccio in New York. We're leading with a business of the arts story. Many regional theaters around the country are in a financial crisis. Audiences are not back to pre-pandemic levels. Government aid, which helped theaters survive COVID shocks, is drying up, and live theaters are closing. Marketplace's Nova Safo reports.
Regional theaters are facing an uncertain future. Post-pandemic, they're finding audiences are less drawn to the types of works regional theaters specialize in. And that's left companies such as the highly regarded Steppenwolf in Chicago staring down a fiscal hole.
Steppenwolf, like many of our peers across the country, is known for bold, innovative, thought-provoking work.
Brooke Flanagan is executive director of the company.
And that work right now is not fitting in the Venn diagram of commercial viability.
Flanagan says post-COVID audiences are more interested in lighter fare and familiar works, historically a pattern similar to one seen after a period of war. For Steppenwolf, which is focused on new plays, that's meant the number of subscribers has shrunk 50% compared to 2019.
People are looking for escapism, they're looking for entertainment, they're looking for shows that they know are going to be a feel-good experience and a healing proposition.
Add to that competition from streaming platforms, less venturing into downtowns and art districts, and theater managers are not where they hope to be. In Los Angeles, Megan Pressman, who heads Center Theater Group, is grappling with this reality.
Their hits are still doing okay. They might still get a little bit dampened after COVID, but the other shows, kind of average shows, the averages are lower and the lows are even lower. It's really similar to what's happening in movie theaters and cinemas.
Smaller audiences can mean fewer donations for regional theaters, which are often nonprofits. At the same time, expenses are up, higher labor costs for technicians and for materials to make sets and costumes. Meanwhile, the pandemic aid, which many theaters relied on to make up for deficits over the last couple of years, is ending. Aid like the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant.
So we have to significantly cut back to basically work within our own means. So that's where we find ourselves now. So as a result, we've been shrinking programming and reducing our staff.
Pressman also made a decision that's shocked the theater world, canceling all performances indefinitely at Center Theater Group's prestigious Mark Taper Forum in downtown Los Angeles. It's one of 3 venues the company operates and the one most associated with groundbreaking works, such as Angels in America, which premiered there.
It's a very complicated time for our theaters.
Teresa Eyring heads the Theater Communications Group, an industry research and advocacy firm. She says there's more pain ahead.
These organizations in general closed earlier than a lot of other businesses and had to open later for various reasons. It's been a bit more difficult for our sector to rebalance.
In the immediate term, unless audiences return in big numbers, Eyring expects to see more regional theaters downsizing or closing altogether. I'm Novasafo for Marketplace.
Market stock index futures are up slightly, plus 0.1% for S&P futures now. And here's a number, 100 million. This is the number of sign-ups in its first week for Threads, the so-called Twitter killer app from Facebook's Meta. That's more week one sign-ups than for the AI system ChatGPT last fall. This will cause gnashing of teeth over at Elon Musk's Twitter, but whether users are into Threads for the long haul and whether big advertisers will embrace it remains to be seen. Banks can lend out money, or they can hold on to it just in case. One of America's top banking regulators is banking on the just in case. Federal Reserve Vice Chair for Supervision Michael Barr said in a speech this week that enough capital is key to keeping the country's biggest banks from failing.
Whatever the vulnerability or the shock, capital is able to help absorb the resulting loss, and if sufficient, allow the bank to keep serving its critical role in the economy.
This is the year several mid-sized banks went bust. Marketplace's Stephanie Hughes reports on possible new capital requirements.
Capital is money banks can easily get a hold of. Some of it's cash, some of it's loans they can call in. And the Brookings Institution's David Wessel says it's always a balancing act for regulators to figure out how much capital is enough.
And Michael Barr is saying, I don't think there's enough now. And the banks are going to say, we have enough. You're punishing us.
Even so, Wessel says, the country's largest banks will prepare to have more capital handy. That means they might lend less or be less likely to do share buybacks. Banking industry consultant Merrill J. Reynolds says he's not so worried about a lending slowdown.
In most cases, there's quite a bit of liquidity out there, and banks have resources to still make loans.
In the meantime, any proposed rules on capital would have to be approved by the Fed, the FDIC, and the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, which would likely take several years. I'm Stephanie Hughes for Marketplace.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Palo Alto Networks. Palo Alto Networks delivers comprehensive cybersecurity protection while automating cyber defense to stop threats so organizations can thrive. Learn more at paloaltonetworks.com. And by C3 AI. C3 Generative AI provides ChatGPT enterprise search that is verifiable, secure, and accurate across all enterprise data. C3.ai. This is Enterprise AI.
The huge China-focused tech company Foxconn has pulled out of a $20 billion deal to build a microchip manufacturing plant in India. It was supposed to be a partnership with India mining giant Vedanta in Gujarat, home state of India's Prime Minister Modi. Foxconn is the big Apple supplier and is also being sued in Ohio for pulling back from an electric vehicle factory in Lordstown. Here's the BBC's Monica Miller.
The setback is really quite significant because Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said that chip making was a top priority of India's economic strategy in pursuit of a new era of electronic manufacturing. And it doesn't get much bigger than Foxconn, which makes roughly 70% of Apple's iPhones. India estimates its semiconductor market could be worth $63 billion by 2026. Foxconn is looking for ways to push its supply chain outside of China, and India is a very desirable place that they saw to do this. And they still say they do. They still want to support India's efforts. It's just unclear why these two have decided to split at this time.
The BBC's Monica Miller. Our producers are James Graham, Joe Critcher, Ariana Rosas, Alex Schroeder, and Erica Soderstrom. Our senior producer is Meredith Gerritsen-Morby. In New York, I'm David Brancaccio, Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.